Jason Munson here with PelletStovePro.com and PelletStovePro.net, your source for pellet stove help and pellet stove parts. You may be in a situation right now where you're trying to diagnose a motor and you're not sure if the motor is bad or there's something wrong with the electrical system on the stove. So here's how you test a motor, whether it be the auger motor, the convection motor, or the combustion motor. Number one thing you can do, if you have a multimeter and if you're trained on using a multimeter, you can check the voltage going to the particular motor that's in question and see if you're getting any voltage there. On the convection fan or the exhaust fan, when the stove is running, you can be getting as low as probably 40-50 volts on most stoves, which is the low speed. On high speed, it can be closer to 120. On the auger motor, the electricity is intermittent. It turns off and on. And depending on how fast your multimeter reads voltage, sometimes it won't even catch it. But usually you'll see a fluctuation or a spike in voltage as you get power off and on. So that's if you have a multimeter. But if you don't have a multimeter and you want to do a simple test, you can take a electrical cord, something even like this. You can find an old one, from an old product or a lamp, and you can cut off this end and you can wire it up to the motor that you're looking to test. And you can use a pigtail or wire nuts or any number of things. You want to make sure the stove is unplugged when you do this. So you wire it up and just plug it into a wall socket, and it should run on full speed. If it's a convection blower or a combustion blower, then it'll run on high speed. If it's an auger motor, it'll just run continuously. If they run like that, or if the motor runs like that, that's a pretty good sign that the motor is good. With one exception, a lot of motors, well, most motors of the convection fan and the exhaust fan, when you run them at low speed, which is where a lot of stoves run at, it is a lot more stressful on the motor to run at low speed than it is to run on high speed. So you can sometimes plug in the motor, have it work at high speed. However, when the problem that you're having is when it's running at low speed. So if you really want to test it at the low speed, you can go to Home Depot or your local hardware store and you can buy a light dimmer like you would put into a wall for your wall where you normally put a light switch. You can put a light dimmer in there. You can use a dimmer switch like that and wire it in line with your test lead for your motor, and you can control the speed of the motor that way and see if it runs at low speed. If it runs at low speed and at high speed, then you probably have a good motor and there could be something else going on with your pellet stove, which I cover in other blogs. I have a blog called My Auger Stopped, which you can find at PelletStovePro.com, and that explains what to do if the other parts of the electrical system of the auger circuitry of getting that to work correctly. So hopefully that was helpful. You can always find my contact information at PelletStovePro.com. If you have any questions, you can email me directly or call me from that information there, which is always up to date.